Get ready to feast. Join me as we dive into the ultimate gluten-free Thanksgiving meal. I've got delicious recipes, expert tips, and brand suggestions to make your holiday unforgettable. Let's cook up a gluten-free storm.
My name is Sharon and I am a registered dietitian focused on gluten-free living. And in this video, I'm going to show you all my tips and tricks for creating a gluten-free Thanksgiving meal. In my family, we often have big Thanksgivings with my husband's family or my side of the family. But in this video, I'm just going to show you how doing a gluten-free Thanksgiving, first of all, does not need to be complicated. And second of all, you can still make a lot of your favorites and the things that you've loved from years past. You can still make them, but do them gluten-free and delicious. So in this video, I'm just gonna show you a very simple Thanksgiving menu. We're going to make it 100% gluten-free. Most of it will be dairy-free as well. And I'm gonna show you some of the easy swaps that I use. So the first thing that I think is so important when planning a gluten-free Thanksgiving is to figure out the menu and do it ahead of time. If you're going to somebody else's house, ask them what they're making and what you're able to bring. Usually they expect you to bring something anyways. By you bringing something to share, you can make sure that some of your favorites get made in a gluten-free way at that meal without extra effort, really, and having to bring some of your own things. So our menu that we are going to do is turkey breast, have it right here, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, gravy, stuffing, rolls, corn, and cranberry sauce. So I created this menu and I went through and thought about what things do I need to make this a gluten-free meal. If you're eating somewhere else, you're gonna have to ask what is in the things that your host is making or that other guests are bringing, if you know the other guests well, to figure out which things will be safe for you to eat, which ones will not meet your dietary needs so that you can bring alternatives. Once you have your menu down and you know what it's going to take to create that meal, make sure that you're able to get specialty items. I ordered my specialty items from Thrive Market and from a local bakery that's nearby us, Saratoga Gluten-Free Goods Bakery in Schuylerville, New York. I'm gonna show you the things that I got from Thrive Market and from that bakery. If you haven't tried Thrive Market, you can try it with a great % off as well as a free gift using the link in my video description. But if you're gluten-free, honestly, I highly recommend it. I find great deals there that are as cheap, if not cheaper, than the prices that it's sold in some of my local stores. And the selection is huge. Plus it just comes right to my door for free. And they throw in free gifts in like every order, which is awesome. So some of the things that I got was stuffing, okay? This is an essential that at everybody's Thanksgiving dinner will contain gluten unless they're making gluten-free stuffing. Even cornbread stuffing is made with gluten, okay? Traditional cornbread, it says cornbread, corn is gluten-free, but it uses regular flour. So we got Jillian's. I'm not brand specific when it comes to stuffing. I do like some brands better than others. And I have a whole blog post just about my favorite stuffing brands and where you can get them. So if you're looking for a good stuffing, make sure you check out that post in the video description. This is the one that I found at my local store and snagged early on in the season before it was hard to find gluten-free stuffing because everywhere got sold out. But we're just gonna do the simple stovetop directions for this. I also got some gravy packets. Gravy is one of the places that often hides gluten. People often make it with flour. It could alternatively be made with cornstarch, which would make it gluten-free, but you really need to check the ingredients and what people are putting in there because it can have flour, like I said, it could have Worcestershire sauce, it could have some other ingredients in it that sometimes hide gluten. I got the Simply Organic vegetarian brown gravy because I'm a vegetarian and I want gravy. So I ordered a couple packets of this. We like to have it on hand. It's super easy to make and it tastes really good. My family also loves green bean casserole and I'm gonna make some of that. And to make a good green bean casserole, you need French fried onions. I got these from Thrive Market. It's certified gluten-free, and we're gonna use this to top our green bean casserole. And green bean casserole traditionally is made with cream of mushroom soup as well. That typically contains gluten. And again, I have a whole blog post ranking my favorite brands of cream of mushroom soup that you can check out in the video description. However, since I am dairy-free also, we are going to be making that from scratch today, and I'll show you how I make it. Another thing we did was order rolls from our favorite local bakery. Like I said, these are gluten-free, dairy-free rolls, and they're so good. If you love to bake, make your own. You can totally, there's some great recipes online from some other recipe creators. I do have a pumpkin dinner roll recipe that's pretty good on my website. It's also low carb if that's a need that you have, but these are delicious. And if somebody else can make it and I can support my local gluten-free bakery, I do. We will also be making turkey breast in the crock pot. If somebody stuffs their turkey at their house, or if they're like my sister and they cook it in a bag and put flour on it, it is not going to be safe for you to eat. And I know turkey seems like one of those things like, well, of course, turkey should be gluten-free, but those two things can happen. This is why it's so important to ask questions of your host and see how they're making their meals and be very specific. I've even seen somebody cook turkey with a beer can in it, like outside in a smoker thing. And again, that would now not be gluten-free. Things can happen that you don't expect. So just make sure you ask questions. Even if somebody knows you're gluten-free, they may not know what they're doing could be unsafe for you. So a really good option is if your host, their turkey's not safe, is to bring something in a crock pot. I just bought turkey breast at the grocery store. This is available year round. It's not frozen. And I'm gonna put that in the crock pot and I'll show you that first. That's the first thing I'm gonna get going here. And you can just cook it up super easily and bring it to their house in the crock pot. And it is ready for you to eat. And it's so simple, it will not take much time, I promise. So if you're curious how we're gonna make all these things and you wanna see our Thanksgiving dinner, keep watching.
The first thing we're going to do is make our turkey. To the slow cooker, add some cooking spray. Then go ahead and layer in your turkey breast. On top of that, add your seasonings. I'm using sage, rosemary, and thyme. Then I'm adding some bouillon. I really like Edward & Sons because they're gluten-free. Then I add water or broth on top, cover it, and let it cook. While the turkey's cooking, I'm gonna work on making everything else. Next, I'm going to start prepping mushrooms to make our homemade cream of mushroom soup for the green bean casserole. We're going to wash our mushrooms and then chop them up. Once they're chopped, we're going to put them in a pan. I like to just use a little bit of water to make sure they don't stick. We'll add a tiny bit of salt and cook them until they're soft and brown. Then we'll transfer the mushrooms from the skillet to the blender. We'll add milk, I use soy milk, lemon juice, onion powder, garlic powder, poultry seasoning, and pepper. And now we're ready to assemble our casserole. In your 13 by 9 pan, add your green beans. Mine were steamed first in the microwave. Spread them evenly in the pan. Add the mushroom mix on top and mix it as evenly as possible. Then top it with your gluten-free French fried onions before heating it up in the oven. And now it's mashed potato time. I swear potatoes are some of my favorite part of the Thanksgiving meal. We're gonna chop your potatoes. I'm using gold potatoes and their skins cook up to be very soft, so I didn't peel them first. I'm just giving them a really good scrub before I chop them. I'm also chopping them fairly small so that they'll cook faster. The smaller the pieces, the faster they cook. What's really important here though is that you get the pieces pretty uniform so that some pieces don't get overcooked while some are undercooked. Then add the chopped potatoes to your pot. Add water and a little bit of salt and cook them on the stove until they're soft. Be sure to watch them or use a bigger pot than me, because what I did not catch on video was my pot boiling over and making a huge mess. While the potatoes cooked, I made my stuffing following the package directions. So like it said, I heated some water and butter, I used dairy-free butter, until boiling. Then I added the stuffing mix. I gently stirred until just mixed. Over mixing gluten-free stuffing will definitely result in everything falling apart and total mush. Once it's well combined, I covered it and let it sit. Then I made the gravy. Again, I just followed the directions on the packet. This gravy was super easy, as all you have to do is whisk the packet into water and then you cook it until it's thick. And that's it. I microwave steamed my corn. Nothing fancy, there it is. Now my potatoes are ready to mash. I keep mine pretty simple by adding just dairy-free butter, garlic salt, soy milk, and then mash them up. And as an honorable mention, I have to say thank you to my little helpers that set the table, got drinks ready, and all those other things that we also need to do to be ready to eat dinner.
So all the food is finally ready behind me, and we're about to dig in. And I really hope, if anything, this video just showed you that you can make a lot of your favorites. You can make them gluten-free, you can make them dairy-free. This whole meal is dairy-free too. If you want to see what a normal day of eating looks like for me as a registered dietitian, you can check out one of my What I Eat in a Day videos. If you're looking for more gluten-free tips for planning your Thanksgiving, check out my blog post that has more tips, a bunch of recipes, and even some dessert ideas. You can check that out on my website. The link is in the video description.
And if you did a bunch of hard work like this only for your kids to eat cranberry sauce and rolls, don't worry, you're not alone, and that's totally normal.